thought.
intelligent people, not just a nice country sun. Beautiful. Now you've got to use your vocal cords, ladies and gentlemen. We need to send as much noise up north as we possibly can. Please do.
Still on the mix, Ōtākou. It's everywhere south of here, ladies and gentlemen. If you need serious medical treatment, you come to Dunedin. We need a Southern Regional Hospital that is fit for purpose. You say cut backs.
We say fight back.
You say cut backs.
We say fight back.
What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Get yourself a comfy spot, ladies and gentlemen. Just remember there's people who might need the seats more than you do, so you can use the grass like Julia. But please remember, aged people and those with mobility issues, make yourself a friend to them, look after them. amazing turnout. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for each of being here. Thank you very much for the ORC for the print buses. Thank you very much for the ODT printing out the banners that we can hold up. At least they've been spelled in. There are still people outside the Central School, ladies and gentlemen. There are still people who have not left yet. This is a remarkable turnout, ladies and gentlemen, and you are part of it. We thank you for being here. Each and every one of you, thank you for taking time out of your weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to ask you to keep moving through the Octagon. They have still not left the dental school yet. We've just had word there are still people at the dental school. Give yourselves a round of applause. Absolutely fantastic turnout, and we thank each and every one of you. We need to send this message. We gave you the votes, and now we need the notes. All right. Keep your promises. Build the hospital that you promised us. That 500 clinicians were consulted on. $50 million worth of groundwork has taken place. The last pile went in on Wednesday. We are ready for action, and we need it now. What do we want? When do we want them? What do we want? When do we want them? Build it once. Build it once. Build it once. Beautiful, right. Keep it coming through the Octagon, ladies and gentlemen. Keep on coming. We want to pack out the Octagon, but we've got a hell of a lot of people to get in there. You're going to get closer to most people than you have for quite some time. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for those less able than you, those slightly longer in the tooth than you. Give them a seat. We can stand or luxuriate, lie on that beautiful grass. Look at it. Absolutely beautiful. What do we want? When do we want them? Now. Build it once. Build it right. Build it once. Build it right. Build it once. Build it right. Keep your promises, your election promises. We're not taking it. The Southern region needs a hospital. We need the hospital that was consulted on, that was approved, that began 7 years ago. You don't come in the last minute and say, hang on a minute, we want to cut and dice it. We don't think you need all that. They try to change the narrative and say it's just an Eden's hospital. We know different. It's not. It's the Southern Region's hospital. All right, we want the key message we want Wellington to know is build it once, build it right. Right, do the mahi. Keep your promise. You promised us the best. We need it. What do we want? When do we want them? What do we want? When do we want them? You say cut back. You say cut back.
We say fight back.
You say cut back.
We say fight back.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Bless you. Look at them coming on through, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a wave. Give them a wee bit of applause. It's been a long trip down the main drag. You're looking good. You're looking good. I hope you... Are we feeling good? Are we feeling like we've sent them a message? We're just getting started. We are just getting started. Yeah. What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Beautiful. Beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. As I say, keep the applause coming. These people are tired. They've walked a long way. They'll have chafing. They could have blisters. All of which is worth having for this. Feel free to come up and sit on the grass, ladies and gentlemen. Come up and get close. We don't bite, we promise. Come on up. Little people, come up and sit on the grass. Come up and sit on the grass. There's plenty of room up here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a hell of a lot of people to try and get in the Octagon. This will be the biggest crowd that the Octagon have seen since Daniel Loader came through in, what was it, 92? It's bigger than the neurosurgery march, and we've got a result with that one. So let's get a result with this one. What do we want? When do we want them? Now! What do we want? No cuts! When do we want them? Now! Beautiful. You say cut back. We say fight back. You say cut back. We say fight back. Build it once. Build it right. Build it once. Build it right. Build it once. Build it right. Can you imagine what that's going to sound like when you're in the school? Congratulate the people who have just made that arduous journey down the main drag, ladies and gentlemen. As they get in here. Sammy, that's a great place to start. We love it. Taking a record for all of our health systems and the Whakaora, and of course the plans for the Southern Region Hospital. As I say, if you've got a saucy banner, come up the front. We've got our councillors, we've got official speeches very, very shortly. We want to make sure that everyone gets to hear that everyone's done the mahi down the main drag. So we want to make sure they're part of our celebration as well. So we do appreciate your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Because I don't think in our wildest dreams we thought we were going to get this many people. We knew it was going to be a big crowd. We had no idea it was going to be this big. This is absolutely fantastic. Take a bow, Dunedin. Take a bow, Southern Region. Because I know a lot of people have travelled a hell of a long way to be here. Some things, ladies and gentlemen, some things are worth fighting for. This is one of them. Raise your hand if this is your first protest. Welcome, hi mai. Come on in, the water's fine. Some things are worth fighting for, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's for you, whether it's for a prem baby, whether it's for someone who needs a hip, someone who needs a heart, someone who needs a stent, someone who needs neurosurgery. If the rescue choppers come, they come here. If you need oncology, you're going to come here. Keep on moving through the Octagon, ladies and gentlemen. Pack up behind us if you possibly can as well. We've got a hell of a lot of people to get in. So please, come on the grass. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. We're all on the same side. We can't often say that in this crazy world, but we're all on the same side. Get up on the grass. Come on, make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. Aside from anything else, you might get yourself on the telly tonight. Front Finley from One News is here. So you could get yourself on the telly. Hot mum, that's me. I can't read half of these signs. They're wonderful and I love them, but I'll be arrested. I've got a family to feed. What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
Beautiful. Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
You say cut back.
We say fight back.
You say cut back.
We say fight back.
You say cut back.
We say fight back.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
Right, if you've got a drink bottle, I want everyone to take a wee swig. All right? We don't want to overrun the ED. Plenty of room on the grass. Have yourselves a little sip, a little drink. Keep hydrated, ladies and gentlemen. Look after those beside you. People maybe you haven't met before. Guess what? They're from your town, they're from your region, and they are with you today. So meet a new friend, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, each and every one of you, for coming and sending this message to Wellington. Some things are worth fighting for. And a Southern Regional Hospital, as promised, during the election, is worth fighting for. Keep it coming, ladies and gentlemen. Keep on moving through the Octagon. Leave a nice little path down the middle on the carriageway, please. We've got to fit in a hell of a lot of people. You say cutbacks. We say cutbacks. You say cutbacks. We say cutbacks. Build it once. Build it right. Build it once. Build it right. What do we want? No cuts. When do we want them? Now. What do we want? No cuts. When do we want them? Now. Beautiful. All right. Here, look, here's our clinicians, ladies and gentlemen. Here's our front liners. How much do we love them? They got us through COVID. We're grateful. We are grateful to you. This hospital is for you. We know what you're working in at the moment. We know what the conditions are like. Now keep going, mate. Here we go. Night fever, night fever. Is that? Ha! 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 Stand alone. Stand alone. Beautiful, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause. We've just had news through from the dental school, ladies and gentlemen. The last people have just left. Give yourselves a round of applause. Feel good about yourselves and doing the right thing. It's active democracy. We're not even asking for anything more. We're just asking for what you promised us during the bloody election. Still plenty of room on the grass. We've got Robert Scott from the back. Here's a Hope, Robert. I can't read that, Bob. It says, it hasn't been through the spell check process, but it says, friggin' lies! Give us what you promised us, the best southern hospital that we need. Not one that is above spec, one that is just spec. One that 500 clinicians said was spec. Give us that one. That's the one we need. You said cut back. We say cut back. You said cut back. We say cut back. Build it once. Build it right. Build it once. Build it right. What do we want? No cuts. When do we want them? Now. What do we want? No cuts. When do we want them? Now. Beautiful. Can we have another round of applause for our nurses and doctors down there? Thank you, guys. Hopefully no one needs that bed the next wee while. I think we'll get through today all right. If you've got a placard, ladies and gentlemen, hold it up nice and high so everyone can see them. Thank you very much to the ODT for printing some. They're on board. We're just out of Frederick Street, ladies and gentlemen. Just out of Frederick Street. We've made it to the wonderfully refurbished George Street. And they are coming. So please leave a space down the carriageway for people to come through. Hold those banners high. Yeah, so just start filling in the road if you possibly can. The entire Octagon is closed, so it is safe. Please feel free to stand on the road, but if you can leave a little gap through the middle of the carriageway for people to filter through, that would be wonderful. We're now all on George Street. Have a look down, if you can see, have a look down towards Knox Church. That's what you did today. That's what you did today. Ōtākou, Pimpin' Officer, wonderful to see you. We see you. They see us. They see all of us. You're not going to hide this on the third page, ladies and gentlemen. You are front page stars and you know it. Thank you for being here. All right, still please come up on the grass. What is it about the grass? Come on, dry as a rain through about 3.5 hours. You might get a wet bum, but if you works, come on up. Come on up. Open your sandwiches. Grab yourself some wee sip of water as well, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep hydrated. We'll look after each and every one of you. Look after your neighbour, those that are sitting beside you. It might be a literal neighbour. Everyone else is here. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. You did this. We're still waiting. Everyone who is coming down the main drag is going to try and squeeze their little butts into the Octagon. So please give them enough space, give them enough room, and come up onto the grass. Come on. Don't be shy with it. We'll be starting the speeches very shortly, but obviously we want to make sure that everyone's made the effort, gets to hear the speeches as well. We're going to hear from the President of the Nurses Association, with the District Mayor, Bryan Cadogan's worship is here with us today. Bryan, thank you very much for travelling up to just up the road. We appreciate the effort you've made, son.
Sure, this one's a deal.
You say fight back.
We say cut back.
You say cut back.
We say fight back.
You say cut back.
We say fight back.
You say cut back.
We say fight back.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
Oh, you're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Main drag. Fit for purpose today, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope you will take it all in. If you haven't been down the main drag recently, it looks absolutely beautiful. Thank you, each and every one of you, for coming. Thank you for bringing your friends. Thank you for bringing your whānau. Thank you for bringing the little people. Thank you for bringing the longer and the tooth people. We see you. We thank you for making the effort today. This is about you. It's about us. It's about the entire southern region. This isn't just Dunedin. This is the entire southern region. If Bryan and his team bring a chopper in, they have to cover the largest area of any other rescue service. That's a big catchment, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we need a good southern regional hospital. A southern regional hospital designed by 500 clinicians, not 3 politicians. The groundworks are done. The piling is finished. We are ready to go up. So let's get going. Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Right, hold those banners up. We're going to read them again. Especially if you spent some time with a paintbrush, ladies and gentlemen. As I say, if a few of you had spent a bit more time with a spell check, it would have been all right. But hey, we get the vibe. We get the vibe. That's the main thing. Southern health, not landlord wealth. Love it. No mana. Honour your promises. I didn't vote for them. I don't think you're on your own. Did anyone hear? Not here admitting today. I bet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We are all on the same side today. That is the most important thing. We are all on the side of the southern region of New Zealand. It doesn't stop at Wellington. I mean, with the ferries as well. I mean, don't start me. Biggest potholes cooked straight, isn't it? Need to fill that one. Anyway, for another day. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, you say cut back.
We say fight back.
You say cut back.
We say fight back.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
No cuts.
When do we want them?
Now.
Oh God, you look brilliant. There's flags. There's people all dressed up and looking flash ass. There's some who haven't made much of an effort, but it was Saturday morning and you're here, so we thank you. Keep going, ladies and gentlemen. We've still got people coming in, so please make space for them. If you can leave a gap through the centre of the carriageway, it will be wonderful. We want to pack as many people as we possibly can, then we will get underway with the speeches. We have Ko-Matua of Ōtākou, Edward Ellison joining us, Councillor Sir William Ackland, ladies and gentlemen. He's led us at Carisbrook in the afternoon watching Ōtākou's glory. He's led us at the new Forsyth Bar Stadium. And of course, he's rewritten it, given it a coat of paint job, and the entire council have sung on the track for Build Our Hospital, for better or worse, ladies and gentlemen. It was the thought that counts. We love them for it. We're going to hear that again very shortly as well. They're just having a round up. They're tuning forks as we speak. There's still plenty of space on the grass, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like a nice comfy seat, please come around. Now, if you've got someone slightly longer in the tooth with you, ladies and gentlemen, make sure they get a seat. We can stand. So make space for everyone, ladies and gentlemen. In fairness, in our wildest dreams, we didn't think there'd be this many. We knew it was going to be big, but this is massive. Take a bow, Dunedin. Take a bow, the Southern region. You've done a beautiful thing today, ladies and gentlemen. You've done a beautiful thing. And this is not just for us, this is for the next generation. The Southern Regional Hospital was for a generation. It wasn't a short-term fix. It wasn't a band-aid, excuse the pun. It's for a next generation. And it's the hospital we were promised. We were promised during the elections. Now keep it.
Yes.
What do we want?
Yes.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
No.
When do we want them?
Now.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Right, we're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. They're still coming in, ladies and gentlemen. I'll stop yelling at you for a minute. I know it can be quite invasive. All right. I'm not sure where he is right now. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Komatua from Ōtākou, Edward Ellison.
Just prior to the speeches, I'll provide a karakia wai there, which is clearing the way and sets the scene for the speeches to follow. So, Tupia tahia rakia rakia, tupita rakia ruka mai nei kia mau mai e, toto mai e waho te whāri ki o tara, awaha te iko karaki pue, ka turu. Awai te kura I whakarere, a ko e tāne e tūturu whakamaua tīna, tīna, haumie, huie, haumie.
Kia ora, Edward, thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we've got the main man. He's led the council. He got them around the table singing from the same hymn book, literally. And that hymn book features the Ōtākou Highlanders song. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the DCC councillors featuring Sir William Ackland.
Thanks, Damien. We've had a run through. Your voices are warmed up. We know what to do. So sing it loud. Hit it, Pete. We are the Southern people. We're here to say again. You told us you would honour your pre-election claim to build a Southern hospital and standards be retained. Should not be a house of pain. Now we kick it up, here we go! Build our hospital, 'cause I only heard. Build our hospital, you don't just heard. Build our hospital, your pre-election claim should not be a house of pain. From the white truckee to the blood. Don't need we two, we all need a hospital, fit for purpose too. The South keeps its promises, now you do the same. We don't want a house of pain. Sing it out! Build our hospital, 'cause I only heard. Build our hospital, you know just what hurt. Build our hospital, your pre-election claim should not be a house of pain. get the hands going one more time.
Build our hospital, council only heard. Build our hospital, no council heard. Build our hospital, your pre-election claim should not be a household pain.
Well done.
We love you, Bill. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Ackland and the Dunedin City Council. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All singing out of the same hymn book, round the table, singing Kumbaya. And led ably by our Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. Please give them a round of applause. Worship the Mayor, Jules Radich.
Tēnā koutou katoa, hui nei, e na mana, e na reo, e na rakatira mā, e na mana whenua, tēnā koutou katoa, ko Jules Radich tōku ingoa. Welcome to everyone here, and thank you to everyone who's joined us here today, because we have the nurses, we have doctors, medical specialists, healthcare workers, and everyone from around the region who've travelled to be here. Thank you. We appreciate your presence, and the government will notice it. For many of you, this will be your first ever march. Can we see that show of? A great many of us are here for the first time ever, and that's because people from across the southern region are outraged by the idea of cuts to this hospital. And we're here to send the government a clear message to keep their promise. This southern region tertiary hospital has been a long time coming, and every element has been designed in consultation with nurses, doctors and health professionals who know what is needed to give you the care you deserve. The business case was made 3.5 years ago and has been scrutinised, value managed and peer reviewed to make sure that the clinical services and facilities provide a fit for purpose tertiary hospital. We need the government to keep their promise and build it. Many of us here today, and many of you here today, fought a long battle with the previous government to get an agreement on what was needed, and the current coalition partners actually all pitched in to help. That was great. But now they're looking to break their promise, and that is simply unacceptable. We should be outraged, and some of us are furious. This hospital is not just for Dunedin, it's for Ōtākou, and beyond. Any cuts will hurt that capacity. Here is where the helicopters land, bringing people from all around to get the treatment they need. Any cuts will hurt them. And it's a teaching hospital, training the medical professionals who go on to support the entire country. Any cuts will hurt them. However, the government can still include all the clinical facilities and services with no cuts. I quote Prime Minister Hodgson, "We're going to build the hospital to the specification originally intended, giving us the capacity we need." So I call on him and Minister Radich and his colleagues to deliver the hospital they promised. So it all comes down to a very simple message. Build it once, build it right. Again, build it once, build it right. Thank you and well done.
Thank you, Jules. We've just had word, ladies and gentlemen, we've just passed Hanover Street. They're still a-coming. They're still a-coming. So thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. Well done. Give yourselves a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what you've done. I'd now like to introduce you to Dr. Sheila Barnett. She is from the Clinical Transformation Group. Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Dr. Sheila Barnett, and I am unexpectedly overwhelmed at the turnout today, so thank you so much. I'm an anaesthetic doctor at Dunedin Hospital, which means I work in the operating, yay. which means I work in the operating theatres and I work all around the building as well, so I know many of you. I also lead the group of hospital staff and the people from the community who have provided the clinical advice to the design of the new Dunedin Hospital, so we are embedded in this project. I speak on behalf of these people, and there are over 500 of us who have put their heart and soul into this design. Our team have worked for 7 years, balancing busy clinical jobs, providing common sense clinical input, and many of us have lived and breathed this project. There has been a lot of give and take, but the final design we had was balanced, and it reflected what the southern region would need in the decades ahead. I know that what we have designed would have worked. Our hospital community are shocked and disappointed at this week's news. We don't know yet what the next few months will look like, but we will be working hard with our colleagues, again, to put the best advice forward that we can. But for now, I want to thank my colleagues and to you all, the community, for backing us and for turning up today to give the southern region a national voice. Thank you.
Dr. Sheila Barnett, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. If you've got these billboards that you've spent time on, ladies and gentlemen, don't hide them now. All right, get them up nice and high. These are where the cameras are. These are what's going to... Look at that. Look at that. Have a look round. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much to the ODT for printing out a lot of those. Thank you very much for our council for leading these and giving us the They Save Hospital Cuts Hurt banners as well. We want to send a very clear message. Just build the hospital that you promised. That's as easy as it is. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, from the coalface, the President of the New Zealand Nurses Association. Please make her feel welcome. Anne Daniels, ladies and gentlemen.
Before I start, I would like to actually just hand the mic over, not scripted, apologies, to Linda Smiley. She is a registered nurse working in Dunedin Hospital, and she has been fighting the cuts for 2 years. Linda.
Good afternoon. When the Mayor asked me earlier in the week to speak today, I declined, because as you can appreciate, the thought of speaking in front of so many of you is quite frankly bloody terrifying. However, sometimes the issue becomes so important that you just need to get over yourself. And the announcement on Thursday of the clinical downgrading of our hospital serving the Ōtākou and Southern people was that moment for me. It is an absolute tragedy that in this country people die waiting to be seen in emergency departments. Patients, including those with cancer, routinely have their surgeries cancelled at the last moment when they're already in a gown, in a bed, waiting to go to theatre. A significant driver of both these situations is clinical buildings and facilities no longer fit for purpose. Inadequate operating theatre space, not enough inpatient beds, so nowhere for post-operative patients to go, and nowhere for emergency department patients to be admitted to. And once the ED corridors are full, the only option is a long time spent sitting in ED waiting rooms. Waiting times so long that some patients have chosen to leave with devastating consequences. So let's be clear. Poorly designed or inadequate clinical facility results in patient harm. This government would have you believe that this hospital, which will serve the whole southern region, is too expensive to build. But I would argue that this coalition government has made a deliberate choice not to invest in the health and safety of the people of Otago and Southland. On the campaign trail, both Christopher Luxon and Shane Retty committed to building the inpatient building as per the business case. When this National Act, New Zealand First coalition government came into power, they had the money to do this. We know this because they found a spare $2.9 billion, which rather than honouring their commitment to current and future generations of Southerners, they chose to give to landlords. Likewise, a spare $216 million was found, which the coalition government chose to give to tobacco companies, rather than investing in health infrastructure. Billions will be spent providing roads for the North Island. So this hospital build is not too expensive. It is just not a priority for this government. The clinical rebuild options presented by Chris Bishop and Shane Reti, incidentally a man who once took an oath to do no harm, will negatively impact patient care and inevitably lead to patient harm and death. As nurses, we know this, and that is why we are out in force today. We now know that Christopher Luxon and Shane Reti's commitment to the South are meaningless. But there are some other names I want to mention.
Yeah, I agree too.
Miles Anderson, Joseph Mooney, Penny Simons, elected MPs for National. Todd Stevenson, ACT Party. Mark Patterson, New Zealand First, both list MPs. All MPs based in Ōtākou and Southland. These people have failed you. Ask them why landlords and tobacco companies can get over $3 billion, but the people they represent will have their health and lives put at risk by a substandard hospital rebuild. Clinical buildings and facilities that will be so inadequate that nurses and doctors will not be able to provide the appropriate level of care their patients need. I particularly wanted to say these MPs' names out loud, along with Christopher Luxon and Shane Reti, because if either of these options of downgrading the inpatient rebuild are pushed through, there is no doubt the inadequate clinical facilities will result in patient deaths. There's no if, buts or maybes. It will just be a simple matter of time. When that happens, I want it today to be very clear on whose shoulders the responsibility for those deaths will rest. Please continue to fight. The threat to the health of those of us here and our future loved ones is very real. In the late 2022s, the nursing organisation started a member-driven petition protesting cuts that Labour announced to a hospital rebuild. 23,000 so far have signed the petition. Labour reversed a number of those cuts and we suspended our petition campaign. In the wake of this announcement, we have reactivated our campaign and we have copies of the petition circulating in the crowd today. We ask that you haven't already signed the petition that you consider doing so. Change.org, reverse the cuts to Dunedin Hospital. Thank you. I'll just hand over to Anne.
Linda Smiley telling it like it is. Give her a hand. Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko kotorane te whakapapa ranga mai. Ko pōtiki te whanua tupu. Ko oti-poti te kāinga. Kei tōputanga tapuhi kaitiaki o te roa aho e mahi ana. Ko Anne Daniels tōku ingoa. Tēnā tātou katoa. Hello, my name is Anne Daniels. I'm the elected president of the New Zealand Nurses Organisation. I represent 62,000 nurses, midwives, healthcare assistants. That's 1 in 80 of every person that lives in New Zealand. The power is in the people. The power is in you. When we stand together, we will win. And that is exactly what we're going to do today. We are standing up against one, broken promises. And I quote, on the 7th of July 2023, Dr. Shane Reti said, I'm proud to be with Michael Woodhouse in Dunedin this morning, where we announced that the next national government will build the hospital Dunedin needs, with all the beds, operating theatres, radiology and pathology service that Labour removed. He then went on to say National would not change the planned footprint of the new hospital. We are standing up against 2, misinformation. We know this government is good at pulling out strong sound bites out of thin air. Look at the 14 layers between a patient and a CEO that was recently found to have no substance whatsoever. Now we are being told that cost blowouts will result in $3 billion hospital. Once again, National cannot produce the evidence. And I note that Aisha Verrill, the spokesman for health, mentioned a very deep, dark hole that they might need to go searching for to find that $3 billion. We are standing up against divide and rule. Based on this misinformation, we are told that other region hospitals' upgrades will miss out if Dunedin gets the hospital they need, the hospital that they've been repeatedly promised. Even the regions don't accept this. They were in Parliament saying, this is bullshit, to cut a long story short. We are standing up against decisions made about us without us. This week, 2 options were put on the table, both rejected by very highly paid consultants in 2018, with good reason. Read the business case. Do your homework. It says the clinical service block is beyond repair, out of date, and will fail operationally. I ask, did Ministers Bishop and Radich talk with any health professional or union representatives or you, the patients, before they made this decision? If they had, they would know that we need a fit-for-purpose, future-proofed hospital that will meet the needs of the city and the wider region. Do they know that an ageing population means more pressure on hospitals due to the lack of access to primary health care and more days in hospital beds? We don't have enough funding in primary health care. That's why we've got so many sick people in hospitals. This is why we need a bigger hospital. Fund health systems. So, last but not least, what was missing in this week's announcement by the ministers? It was he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. The people, the people, the people. A hospital is built to help care for the people. A hospital is built to support health professionals to care for the people in the best way they can. A hospital is built to teach and learn. What does this decision mean for our medical school and our nursing students? A hospital is built because governments have failed to properly fund primary health care, health prevention and early intervention. So, this government has failed us, the people. They have failed themselves. I ask you, the people, will you accept the decision not to build the hospital we need and now in the future? Will you? No, we won't. We will fight until we get what we're promised. We will not wait for justice to be done. The government has taken away from the people. It is time for us to take it back. I say, build it right. You say, build it right. What do you say? Build it right. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have everyone here now, ladies and gentlemen. So hold up your banners, give yourselves a clap with your good hand. Do we have 5,000 people here? Nay! Do we have 10,000 people here? Nay! We have 35,000 people here, ladies and gentlemen! No one dreamed this! But you can't take it lying down. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. What do we want? When do we want them? Now! it's not just Dunedin's hospital, it's the Southern Regional Hospital, ladies and gentlemen. Please make him feel welcome, the Mayor of the Clutha District, Bryan Cadogan.
Kia ora, Damien. Mihi ki te iwi o Ōtākou. Kia ora, everyone, and what an honour it is to represent country as we stand beside our town friends. And why are we here? Because we've been bloody lied to. It was only 2 weeks ago that the Otago Mayoral Forum were giving real proper statements of assurance that all the promises will be kept. 2 weeks and then the Hatchet brothers came to town. And I don't think it was by chance that the ministers chose to socialise the possibility of refurbishing the old tower block. And now this is the extreme risk that we face, that this might crystallise into being their new concept. And that new concept is the Reti Renovation Company thinking a slick of paint on the old building might shut the South up for another generation. Are we going to shut up? I think we might, because unfortunately the Reti Renovation Company is just a subsidiary of Luxon Demolition, specialists in dismantling everything they touch. And the South is definitely getting dismantled if we allow this to happen. And they're trying to turn us into a third world afterthought. We're not accepting it. When the great dismantler and his team lack vision and integrity, all that we're left with is a wrecking ball of broken promises and twisted priorities. We've been told this week that they can't find the money for the health of the South. And yet we know that they've just found savings over this year, the entire tax relief of $14 billion. But they can't find the health for the South money. This week's announcement that we're going to have to make do with either half a hospital or a revamp of the old building is an insult to the clinicians and health professionals that have championed this project on the South's behalf. And while I'm on the subject, I want to say that I'm in awe of the dedication and professionalism that our health professionals display every day. To see firsthand how critical this hospital is, not only to Dunedin, but to the wider region. If you come from the hinterland, there's every good chance that it could be in a helicopter or an ambulance. Things have already hit the fan. And that building, when you're coming up to it, and the magnificent people that work there, are quite literally hope. How will that hope and confidence be affected if you know you're going to a compromised facility? If they build what they're suggesting, we should accept. If we thought of that building as a car, I'm picking it would have to be a Māori 1100, built for another age. And yet they expect our Formula One nurses, doctors and support staff to race around in it. Until when? 2070? 2080? We're talking generational. If they keep the old tower block, it won't be long until it's protected under the Historic Places Covenant. What could possibly go wrong? Our health professionals deserve better. We deserve better. This is not the level New Zealand has dropped to. The challenge the South faces will not be easy to solve. Unfortunately, today is not the fight. But your support has shown that in the coming weeks, there's going to be a bloody fight. If we're not going to get outmanoeuvred, we need to formulate a cohesive strategy that draws on the strength of both town and country, because together we can do this. Kia ora.
Bryan Cadogan, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. And he raises a very good point. Our Formula One medical professionals, ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause. They helped us through COVID. They're working in almost third world conditions. We need to honour them by getting the hospital that we're promised. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker is Piri Tohu-Hapati from the Māori Medical Students Association. Please give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Piri, go on.
tui honei, ko papatuanuku e takoto nei. Kia koutou ngā amorangi, ngā hāpai o Kimuri, tutu te puehu o te papa nei, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. My name is Piri Tohu-Hapati. I am not a southern boy, I'm a northern, born and raised boy, and my GP was, ashamedly, Shane Reti. I am in my 4th year of medical training, and amongst all of you are also my colleagues, so to them I say thanks in supporting this wonderful chorus, this wonderful joining of voices. All of you are an attestament to the strength within Dunedin. Tēnā koutou. A promise is a promise, or so I was led to believe. This building a shelter, a patient's reprieve, to house its sick, to comfort when dying, now bannered in blue, with governments lying. How many times shall they leave us down and out? How many times must we suffer by their fiscal clout? How many times must my patients be delayed? How many times have they also been afraid? From a system broken from head to toe, this hospital stands token of its former glow, with aims to cleave inequity, but always predictably. We oft are forced holistically to stray from things te tiriti. This is no nicety. As we stand here in unity to speak against the tyranny of what many will call health villainy, this is for you, this is for me, this is for those who are yet to be, this is for who are yet to come, and also for the dashed and done. This is for the southern ones. This is a matter of life and death. This is a matter of being cheap. How can we tend to the health requirements of a combined people who present with complicated pictures of health and yet have some expectation to muster a next generation of competent health practitioners whose medical course degrees and environment in which learning is done has suffered an anemic response to reinvestment? This is dire, myopic short-sightedness. This serves no one but continues to perpetuate the grand theme of unmet need, especially towards our Māori and Pacifica whānau. To store or cut corners is to be complicit in preventable deaths and long-term suffering. Doctors, nurses and allied health professionals trained here will go on to serve our communities. It is essential that we are educated in a facility that is fit for purpose, equipped with the latest technologies and reflective of modern best practice care standards. By compromising the rebuild, we are not just jeopardizing the care for our patients, but also jeopardizing our own learning. Without a world-class teaching facility, we are sending a clear message to our medical trainees that we don't value their education, their future contributions, or the health of the communities we will serve. We will lose them. A teaching hospital is not just a place where health professionals learn, it is where the cutting edge of research, practice and patient care come together. Without a state-of-the-art facility, we fall behind and we as students are deprived of the opportunities to learn in an environment that reflects the very best of what healthcare can and should be. And once again places at the core of its tenets that patient care is paramount. Tēnā koutou.
Piri, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise! How good! The future of our medical students is safe. Right, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a couple of chants just to keep ourselves warm? Okay, here we go. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. They say, build it once! Build it once! Build it once! Right, please welcome a man who's been at the coalface, literally, of our MASH unit for many, many years. He's retired head of the Dunedin Emergency Department, Dr. John Chambers.
stand here in front of such a great crowd of people who really care about our hospital. I'm so honoured, honestly. I'm here to represent clinicians from the hospital, both past, present and future, and from our medical school. And I want to take you on a little bit of a journey. Now, as a doctor, I attended more than 100 meetings over a period of 3 years at the outset of this planning process for this new hospital. 4 to 5 hours per week, all staff group represented, and later builders and planners, chaired by very good, calm chairpersons, such as senior oncologists and cancer specialists, and the Professor of General Practice. Every aspect was debated and deliberated on and discussed. I was very pleased to hand over, after a few years, to my younger colleague who would take the project forward to its completion and building, working alongside colleagues such as Dr. Barnett to get the job done. Now, by 2021 it was designed and it looked pretty good, but concerns were being raised about cost. Now, this is at a time where there had been massive medical inflation just because of COVID, so everything was going up in price and the cost was concerning. So external experts were asked for advice. Now, in 2022, $200 million was cut out of the project. And a whole building was cut. And this was a good building. It was to accommodate our staff and students. It was into a real learning space and a space where staff could mingle, mix and learn. It was gone. I think everybody was bamboozled. Perhaps this is just what happens in these sort of projects. They make big cuts and you just have to wear it. In 2023, another $30 million of cuts were proposed. And this time, you, the people of Dunedin, our councillor, our mayor, said no, no. And a good campaign was organised and there was a back down. And the cuts were removed. And we were reassured by promises from Dr. Retty and Mr. Luxon. But the reports have continued. The reports have continued. In November 23, these reports are written by non-clinical experts. In November 23, a report suggested that the public hospital system across the whole of Dunedin was looking at building costs as high as $100 billion over the next few years. And clearly, something had to be done about it. And they went public about that report and the costs. What did not get publicity was what they were suggesting to change, to try and make some savings. And I have them here today in black and red and blue. And possible changes that were suggested, including shifting some care, some aspects of care to other places, to somewhere else. And that includes mental health care, psychogeriatric care, stroke care, surgical rehabilitation, children's acute care. Who makes this stuff up? Who makes this stuff up? But then there was a big ticket item. A big ticket item. Let's reduce how long patients stay in hospital. Knock off a couple of days, 1 or 2 days of stay in medical wards and surgical wards of our hospitals all over New Zealand, including Dunedin. This could save billions. In fact, $6 billion this might save. But it doesn't say in the report how you will save the money. I will tell you how you can save $6 billion by cutting hundreds of beds all over New Zealand, including in Dunedin. And if you cut the beds, then you don't need the staff. So you need less doctors, less nurses, less support staff, even less managers. But you can save billions. But there's a problem with all this thinking. It's imaginary nonsense. It's total, utter nonsense. And it ignores what's really coming. Growing demand, more patients, a bigger population, and a need for a bigger hospital system in our country, including in Dunedin. Now another report appears just a few days ago in 2024, and it looks like it's back to the drawing board for all of our hard-working professionals in Dunedin planning this hospital. In the meantime, just out of sight here, there is a new flagship private radiology building being built. It's flying up. No delays, no problems there. And and it's opening in early 2025. And there'll be 2 floors of car parks in that building. And I bet there'll be a bank of charging stations for the new Teslas and Volvos. Now, you lot, I'm afraid, will have to walk or get the bus to the public hospital. Now, this is all supposed to be about reducing costs, but I suggest that it's much more complicated than that. It's about trying to think about cost shifting our services to somewhere else. And it's about privatisation. It's exhausting. This is exhausting. So please, politicians and officials in Wellington, listen to the people of Dunedin and the South. Stop seeking advice from people who are not clinicians. Listen to your own experts and get that hospital built and fully staffed for when it opens in 5 years' time.
Let's build it. Let's build it once.
Beautiful. All right, next up, can we just have a big round of applause for our rescue helicopter, ladies and gentlemen. Bryan and wonderful team. Classy as always. You hope you never need them, but it's nice to know they're there. All right, joining us next, ladies and gentlemen, the former Southern District Board Deputy Commissioner, now from Healthcare Ōtākou Charitable Trust. Please make him feel welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Richard Thomson.
Kia ora. I was a member of the Southern Partnership Group responsible for building the hospital from its inception. And when I left 4 years ago, I thought we had a plan and a design that we could all be proud of. But my parting words were that if they dared renege on what so much planning and clinical involvement had been put into, I would be at the front of the march. Bugger it, here I am. I was also chair of the Ōtākou DHB when our board signed off on the start of this rebuild process. That was in 2007. It is 17 years later, and it will be at least 25 years by the time anything opens, if anything opens. If I have to listen to one more politician blame another politician, I swear I will, non-violently, punch them on their Pinocchio noses. They have all had far too long already. But it is this government that broke a promise, and it's this government that is the only one that can fix it. Liars! They think they know better than the clinicians, the health planners, the engineers and the architects that have given endless hours to this. And they cannot even read the very report that they're claiming as justification for their broken promise. Here's what the Rust report says. Recommendation number one. Number one, not number 37, number one. The scope of the new Dunedin hospital should be fixed as a matter of urgency and no further changes should be considered. 17 years now, and while we wait, the people who suffer are you and the staff that serve you. And I fear that many will now vote with their feet. I also understand why refurbishing the ward block was never an option, that it was stupid, short-sighted and ultimately more expensive to try and reuse a facility that won't function after a major earthquake, that would be over 50 years old at the time of completion, whose ceiling height and column construction makes it impossible to create cost-efficient modern wards, that would have to be significantly emptied out of patients to allow the work to be done. And I could go on. Bishop and Reti's national predecessors signed off on the indicative business case in 2017, and they understood what these guys can't comprehend if they've even looked. I also know that a number of heroic assumptions were made around size. It would only be big enough if there was significant investment in primary care and if it worked at a high efficiency model. Miss either of those targets and it would be too small. Creating a compromised or smaller hospital that cannot operate efficiently will ensure that it is too small. And if those politicians dare to say that they'll build some now and some when it's needed, point them at the 25 years this process has taken so far at best, and ask them why we should believe them. And ask them what it is exactly that's not needed now. If I sound angry, it's because I am angry, and you need to be too. The government that promised you the full quid now wants to just give you 10 bob. And it wants the rest of New Zealand to think you're being selfish and asking for a proper hospital. When I was younger, there was a movie in which Peter Finch flung a window open and yelled for all the world to hear, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." Well, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. What about you? Are you going to take it anymore? We will win.
Richard Thomson, ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause, please. Right, one more time for the cameras. Hold up your banners, ladies and gentlemen. Hold them up. Hold them up. Hold them up. You say cutbacks. Build it once. What do we want? When do we want them? Ladies and gentlemen, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our next speaker, our last speaker, ladies and gentlemen, former Minister of Health and former Southern Partnership Group Chairman, our friend, the Honourable Pete Hodgson, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm overwhelmed by the number of people that are here, and I'm greatly heartened. Thank you. I want to talk about money and give you a little detail so that you know what you're dealing with. 2 days ago, ministers came to town to downgrade our hospital and to release Robert Rust's report. I know Robert Rust and I have read his report. He is an engineer who understands finance. He has spent most of his life building health infrastructure in New South Wales. He is a polite and careful man, and he knows his stuff. He says that the hospital probably cannot be completed within the current budget of 1.88 billion. That's a problem, and I'm going to come back to it. 2 days ago, when ministers came to town to downgrade our hospital and released the Rust report, they said they wanted to be open and transparent. They were anything but. They said that the cost of the new hospital was approaching $3 billion. The Rust report does not say that because it is not true. Richard has already given you Robert Rust's first recommendation, which is that the scope needs to be fixed as a matter of urgency and left unchanged. That scope was decided years ago when Bill English was Prime Minister, and Rust is politely saying that someone in the meantime, in recent months, has bolted on to the hospital a car park, a community pathology cost, that were never part of the project. He's saying that someone has bolted onto the project north of 300 million bucks worth of refurbishing of an abandoned building when no one knows to whom which bits of that building might be sold or leased for what purpose. He is politely saying that the governance needs to be fixed.
But ministers have instead used that criticism to pump the cost up towards $3 billion. Did they really think we would not notice? I am calling them out now, loud and clear, for their deceit. 2 days ago, when ministers came to town to release the Rust report to downgrade our hospital and to be open and honest, they said the project had been trouble from the start. They said it was built in the centre of town, that it was prone to flooding, that it was on contaminated soil, and that there was great uncertainty about piling. But the Rust report says nothing of that. Ministers just made it up. The reason that Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern asked that it be placed in the centre of town, where it has been for 100 years, is that Dunedin trains health science students for all of New Zealand in their thousands. I would hope that the Minister of Health would be enthusiastic about that. The chocolate factory was demolished, the rubble was used to build up the ground level, all necessary soil was decontaminated, all piles were driven for both buildings and capped, the last one capped on Wednesday of this week, and all of that was done for less than 3% of the total budget. How wrong could ministers be? Here's my advice to the government about yet another cost overrun, about that $1.88 billion. Do not bother to review the building capacity again. Not again. It wastes time and it costs money. There are no vanities, there are no bells, there are no whistles in this project. Remember Richard's comment that the hospital was designed from the outset on ambitious assumptions of high efficiency and significant investment in primary care. Lopping even one story off the new tower block would mean the new hospital would have fewer beds than what we have now. Instead, satisfy yourself, ministers, that you have created an acceptably strong competitive environment. Satisfy yourself, ministers, that you have an acceptably innovative approach to modularisation and all of those other tricks of the trade. And satisfy yourself, ministers, that you have an acceptably competent governance. Then build the bloody thing. Don't bother with the blackmail that other hospitals such as Whangarei need the cash. I know the Whangarei hospital. My father spent his last days there a few years ago, and it is in dire need of attention. But Northlanders want half a hospital just as much as Southerners do. Instead, ministers, look at the Infrastructure Commission's report of a little while ago, which said that health infrastructure spending in New Zealand needs to be quadrupled for 30 years. Then note how the previous government did indeed put big chunks of money into each of their 6 budgets, but how this year's budget has next to nothing. Therein lies the problem, therein lies the solution. Not having enough money for hospitals is a political choice. Thank you.
All right. You say cutbacks.
We say cutbacks.
You say cutbacks.
We say cutbacks.
Build it once.
Build it right.
Build it once.
Build it right.
What do we want?
Cutbacks.
When do we want them?
Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome back to close the ceremony today, Edward Allison. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Kia ora koutou katoa. from the beginning to the end, it's been a real privilege to be with you, Dunedin and the wider region, an amazing example of the Ōtākou Southland version of kotahitanga. Ngā mihi atu kia koutou katoa. All I can say is kia kaha, kia maia, kia manawa nui, which is be strong, be bold, and forbearance. So, in closing, I wish you all a very safe journey back to your homes and your whānau. Nō reira, unuhia, 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 tūru tapu nui. I te ara takata, I koia rā e rungo, I whakairi aki kei runga, haumi e hui e tāki e. Kia ora koutou.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you could just make as much noise as you possibly can, go wild and crazy for Philippa and Nicola, who've just been standing beside our speakers. They've been doing the signing for us today, ladies and gentlemen. Very shy and retiring, but we thank you. Ngā mihi, thank you very much. Bless your heart. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once more, hold up everything. This is the last shot. We're going to welcome back Councillor Sir William Ackland and his version of the Highlanders song. It's called Build Our Hospital. Make as much noise as you can, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, let's sing it out. Nice and loud. We are the Southern people. We're here to say again. You told us you would honour your re-election claim to build our Southern hospital and standards be retained. Should not be a house of pain. Now we sing it out. Build our hospital, 'cause it's only her. Build our hospital, no council her. Build our hospital, your re-election claim should not be a house of pain. From the Waitaki to the Bluff, and only we two, we all need a hospital, fit for purpose too. The South keeps its promises, now you do the same. We don't want a house of pain. Come on, get those hands. Build our hospital, council only her. Build our hospital, you know council her. Build our hospital, your re-election claim should not be a house of pain. Just one more time. Build our hospital, council only her. Build our hospital, you know council her. Build our hospital, your re-election claim should not be a house of pain. Well done.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of myself, Damien Newell and Hannah Wilkins from the Breeze, thank you very much, each and every one of you, for showing up today. We may call upon you again if we need. We're not taking no for an answer, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, each and every one of you, for taking time and representing the people of the South. We really appreciate you. Ngā mihi nui. Please take your signs with you, ladies and gentlemen. No litters. Look after each other, and we may call on you again. Ka kite.